Saints Row. Oh boy, I was hoping that I would never find the time to play this game. It is hard for me to put into words how important the original Saints Row games are, especially the first two. Saints Row 1 is one of the first games I have full memories of me playing. There is so much I would love to talk about and go into for the first couple of Saints games. But alas, this video is on the recently released reboot, which seems like it wanted not only to distance itself from the old Saints, but insult it as much as possible whilst doing so. So let's start this video off by talking about what I believe the game did wrong. And a quick little caveat, I am going to limit myself on the things I'm going to talk about, or else this would literally be a 5-hour video of me bagging on the Saints Row game. So I guess we should just get straight into the very worst I felt this game had to offer, and that is how unapologetically un-Saints Row this game is trying to be. And I'm going to clear this up right here, right now. I didn't really have a problem when they announced that they're renaming Rim Jobs and Freckle Bitches, as it's just a name. But then again, at the same time, I guess that's foreshadowing the journey I was about to go on. In this video, I don't want to talk about the original games too much. However, the thing I always liked the most about the original games is how grounded it all felt. Like, your character could be going out to do the most ridiculous shit, but yet in the universe, it just felt like another day. Like, it was all grounded within the world. In the new game, they are not so grounded. And there is no better example than from the world famous activity of insurance fraud. I'm sure everyone's played this. And in the original Saints, especially 1 and 2, people are basically telling you to throw yourself in front of cars.
Anyways, I was wondering if you could run the same insurance scam with me.
Didn't you just say Gonzalez got thrown in jail? Why would you want to try the same thing?
How about you worry about throwing yourself in front of cars and I worry about not getting arrested?
Suit yourself.
It's the best way to do things. However, in the reboot, you are told that throwing yourself into cars is an archaic way of doing things, and that no normal person would want to do that.
My automated claim generation code is ready for beta testing.
What's that now?
It produces fake records and documents based on real-world data. It should be good enough to fool the fraud detection algorithms.
That sounds rather complicated. How about I throw myself in front of traffic? And the harder I am hit, the more money we make.
Sure, if you want to die. With my system, all we gotta do is push a button.
How about I do insurance fraud my way, and you do it your way?
You're the boss.
But that's just the tip on Saints-like behaviour. It is well known what this game was afraid to offend people. So much that it offends any fan of the original Saints Row. With some scenes like not wanting to work out of a church at first.
Let's go. I'll drive. Where is this church?
Up on 3rd.
Oh, that place.
To using a cat as an emblem on their hat instead of the fleur de lis.
We have hats.
I thought we agreed to use the fleur.
This is better.
I'm with Nina.
I have so many questions.
And that, my friend, is what team building is all about.
I also don't think there's a Saints Row, and I don't think they are ever called the 3rd Street Saints, unless I am forgetting that when that happened, which I might be doing, as I want to forget this game as soon as possible and just remember the classics from my childhood. Honestly, I'll also go with forgetting 4 and Get Out of Hell. I'll be okay with that as well.
You think I don't know? How do I burn out a city that's baptized in fire? How do I kill off an army that's dead? Time's slipping away now, and the best plan we've got is just put one inside Satan's head. If roles were reversed, God, I know they'd save me, but all my solutions involve murder sprees.
But yet somehow there's still more anti-saint behaviour to talk about. The reboot Saints do not like committing crimes. Half the crimes they always mention how they are victimless crimes, like robbing a payday loan place.
I don't have much. We don't want your money, just his. Get out of here.
You done fucked up.
I've been getting that a lot lately. Where's the safe?
As it is a well-known fact that anyone who works at or owns a payday loan place are scummy individuals. And then there's also stealing from armored trucks, as the money is insured. Saints shouldn't care who they rob from, or who they kill, or who they piss off, or who they steal from, as they are the goddamn 3rd Street Saints. Live action role-playing, also known as LARPing, is a real-life activity that many people around the world partake in, from reenacting battles from history to fantasy Renaissance periods. You may be wondering why I mention this. Saints Row has not a small amount of the game's short runtime dedicated to this, conveniently relating back to the last game I talked about on this channel, that being Life is Strange True Colors, as it also had a LARPing chapter, which, let's be honest, makes a lot more sense in the story that Life is Strange tells, and it's also done a lot better in that game. The LARPing just seems like it may have been added solely to pad out the game's runtime. One of the main reasons I believe that is that in the final mission of the LARPing saga, where you are fighting with a chick called Gwen, who works for Marshall, and was your superior when you also worked at Marshall. But yeah, at the end of this mission, she becomes kind of friendly with the main character after not fake dying when she was meant to, and then eventually fake dying, but was then never mentioned again, even though she is theoretically still working for the Marshall Defense Company that is actively at war with the Saints. She doesn't try to stop you or report you to Marshall or anything. It's almost like they completely forgot about her after the LARPing missions. The last main bad thing I want to talk about is just the writing of the game.
Bugger, bother, and bollocks. Bugger, bother, and bloody bollocks. Bugger, bother, and bloody sodding bollocks.
I understand that the game maybe wasn't necessarily written for me or the demographic that I slot into, as I'm not an American and college/university doesn't cost an arm and a leg where I live. But I'm sure everyone has heard of some of the cringe-inducing lines that this game has produced. From my understanding, the main reason the gang went to form the Saints is to pay off their student loans. There is also to get back at the other gangs for attacking the players' art exhibit that they were guarding whilst working for Marshall, which seems like it could be a reason for forming the Saints past paying off their student loans, but they don't really show that they want to take over the city. And that is not even the weakest part of the story. After you form the Saints, the gangs you fight with are Marshall, led by Atticus Marshall, the Los Panteras, led by Sergio, and the Idols, led by a group of people referred to as the Collective. Out of all those leaders, there is only one you get to kill yourself, that being the Collective, which was so unnoticeable from any of the normal idols that I could barely tell that I was fighting the leaders. You do also get to kill Atticus Marshall, but you kill him in a cutscene after he gets voted out of his company.
Let's ask the tiebreaker.
Looks like you're all out of lawyers.
Sergio is killed by a gun for hire referred to as the Nawali. The Nawali could have been an incredible character, a hired gun super crim that you capture on your first day working at Marshall, who you then break out of prison to help rob a train full of course, what the game would call bank insured money. And then you and your group become best buds with the Nawali, who helps you out on a couple missions until, for some unknown reason, he buries you alive in a hole that, I might add, goes from a massive pile of dirt in the game's opening cutscene to a shallow grave. This was pretty goddamn cool. But then you learn the reason that he buried you in the first place is to take your place in the friend group. Because friendship, I guess. So, then you end up hunting him down and saving your friends, who I realize I haven't talked about once at this video. So let's quickly go through them, as there aren't no Shawnee or Pierce, and there's definitely no Johnny Gat, so this shouldn't take too long. All of your friends are also your roommates, and of course founding members of the Saints. They also happen to be ex-members of other groups in the city. So let's start with Kev. His whole character trait is that he doesn't wear a shirt and is a good cook. He was a DJ for the Idols before leaving them. Nina was a part of the Los Panteros, and she is basically Dominic Toretto in female form. She has a love for cars and is all about family. And then there is Eli. He wasn't a part of any gang before founding the Saints. He is the smart guy of the gang, mainly in the law and finance, which he is actually clearly not very good at, as whenever the group needs to pay rent, they have to rob someone. Man needs to spend more or less time on Wall Street bets. And then there is you, the boss. Basically the Gat of this reboot, as you just love killing people. And you worked for Marshall Defense Agency, or Industries, I forget what they're called, for about a week. Oh, also one thing I would like to mention. The main character has never had a name in the Saints franchise, which I feel mostly works, as in the Saints Row 1, you are first referred to as Player by Julius. And then you become leader of the Saints in the second one, and everyone just calls you the boss, or boss, which makes sense. However, in this game, you are called roommate, and there is one scene that comes to mind, is when they are all your group have been held hostage by the Nawali, and then Eli refers to you as our roommate, which just, I don't know why, it just made me giggle. The fact that they all refer to each other by first names and all that, and you're just, oh, our roommate's here, isn't he? So that I found a very funny.
I want them secured.
What's going on?
It's for your own safety. It's our roommate, isn't it? They're here to save... Save you? Is that what you... Eli, I'm sorry I hit you. There's a lot going on right now, and I got upset.
So, the script for this video is now 200 words longer than my Life is Strange video, and we now get to talk about the good in the game, or maybe not good, but let's say the average. And where else to start than the thing that Saints Row series has always done better than any other game, from 1 all the way to 4, that being customization. Saints Row has always had unmatched customization, from character to cars to guns, and that is at least one thing this game does very well. The game has everything you would want in the boss customizer, from a large selection of hairstyles to making your body look any way, from purple skin to, well, let's just say the very large sex organs. Clothes are also great, from wearing none at all to a full suit with every color you would like. And once again, just like the past two things, car customization also not a letdown, from most vehicles having a fairer to large amount of customizations, from front bumpers, back bumpers, hoods, grills, window tints, spoilers, rims, and all of the such, allowing you to tailor make the perfect set of wheels for your boss. And then there are weapons, which, don't get me wrong, can be personalized in any way you want, changing the colors, the finish on the gun. However, once again, as I've mentioned many times in this video, something the originals did better than the reboot is that when you upgrade your guns, they don't really change the look at all. It's like if you upgrade your barrel, perhaps it stays as the stock barrel. This is something they had back in Saints Row 3, but have decided that it doesn't want to live up to its original counterpart. But then that's literally this whole script. And if it's not clear already, I was really hoping this game would live up to the originals. Apart from customization, there are a couple of moments in the story, especially towards the end, where I feel that the game lives up perfectly to what the Saints stand for, or what a Saint would do from the original trilogy. Now, obviously, as I was playing through the game for this video, I took notes of these moments. The first one is when they first go to the church and clear out the idols that are there. Although, looking back at it, this clip isn't as saint-like as I once remembered.
The Saints. We call ourselves the Saints.
One mission has you compete in a murder livestream called Boot Hill, ran by Doc Ketchum, which I feel is a more gritty version of Professor Genki's super ethical reality climax. Just not run by a man dressed up as an anime cat mascot suit with a lab coat.
Welcome to Boot Hill, where you are shown. Murder your way through my playground while the world watches in real time. I have one rule. Leave your weapons behind, killer. Everything you need will be provided. It's kill or be killed. Survival of the fittest. Slay your way to the top and become the Boot Hill champion. Hope you said goodbye to your mama, because it's showtime!
And then there is a mission where you trash the idol's commune with a porta potty attached to the back of a car with a person inside the porta potty to get information out of him. And let's be honest, that just feels like something that would definitely happen in Saints Row the 3rd.
Yes, I'm on the can. So? Someone in here. Fuck off.
And the last hour or so of this game has a couple scenes that give off medium Saint vibes. These scenes are mainly to do with the downfall of Marshall, or when they try to take over the Saints via legal action, which is interesting.
Sorry, folks, party's over.
Who the fuck are you?
Chet Drummond, Marshall General Counsel. The Saints are now a wholly owned subsidiary of Marshall Defense Industries.
No.
The employment agreement you signed when we hired you contained a non-compete clause.
I signed a lot of shit. I didn't actually read it.
Not our problem. By attacking Marshall interests, to wit, the Frontier Prison, our cargo train, and various other assets, you became a competitor.
So, what's your fucking point?
Pursuant to Article 9, Section 12, Paragraph 36A, you have surrendered all rights and ownership of the Saints to us.
Eli?
Oh my God, he's right.
Of course I'm right. I wrote the fine print myself.
You are aware that didn't solve the issue, right?
Yeah, but he was being a dick. Looks like you're all out of lawyers.
You held up your end of the deal. And now, so have I. The Saints are all yours.
Thanks. We made a good team.
Don't go mistaking us for friends. This was business. You interfere with Marshall again, and you'll get the horns.
And the last clip is kind of ruined with context. That the only reason you did this, this happened to you, is because this man wanted to take over your position in the friend group. But being buried under a massive pile of dirt in the opening cutscene is pretty cool. Also, if you ignore the fact that it turns into a shallow grave towards the end.
You could not even protect yourself. How would you ever protect your friends? Someone like me came along, huh? This is for the best. Do not worry. I'll keep our friends safe.
After talking about the small amount of things I found good about the Saints Row reboot, how do I feel about this game? As a fan of Saints Row, I pretty much hated it. As a gamer, I didn't like it. I found some of the controls clunky and vehicles difficult to drive. But should you play this game? And the answer to that question is I really don't know. I don't know who this game was made for. It wasn't made for Saints fans. It wasn't made to be a good game. It wasn't made for gamers. The only reason I can think for this game being made is that Agents of Mayhem was a complete and utter flop and Volition needed some extra money. Goddamn capitalists. You know what? Maybe Kevin was right to join the idols. Down with capitalism. And then maybe we'll get some good Saints Row games. So I was going to end the video there, but I've just done some extra research as I was going to try to complete all the adventures that the game has, which is another really good thing that I didn't talk about in this video, is that you can have adventures around the thing. It's a lot of grinding and I can't be asked going any further. And the two ventures that original Saints Row fans would recognize, that being Planet Saints and Let's Pretend, they're locked so far behind progression and grind that I cannot be asked doing it. So I YouTubed it and there's a final cutscene for the game. This cutscene probably will take you hours upon hours upon hours of work to get to. Probably close to 30 hours of just grinding for money. And they fucking go to karaoke. They go to karaoke and it is shit. Don't even look it up. It's not worth looking at. God, this game is such a disappointment. I actually had hope at one point when I first heard they were rebooting Saints Row. Because after Agents of Mayhem, I thought we'd never get another Saints Row game. And God damn it, I wish we didn't. I really just wish we didn't. This hurts me as a Saints Row fan. And as a gamer, because it's just a fucking shit game. But anyways, I will see you guys in the next video.